Okay, welcome to the next episode of Talk to Derek, the online talk show that builds trust with video for business in Windsor and Essex County. And with me today, I have Chris Anderson from Astral Social, which is a digital marketing agency that specializes in creating and maintaining online social presence for brands and businesses. So, welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Derek.
So, my first question, Chris, is when did Astral Social get off the ground and how did it come to be?
Astral Social is just over 11 months old. We're actually having our first year anniversary this April. It came to light after I closed one of my previous businesses, which was a sales-based business. And I was looking at ways to get a little bit more into my expertise, which has been online and marketing for the last 4 or 5 years over various projects and companies and whatnot. So that's kind of how it started. I was looking for something new that I could sink my teeth into, and it just kind of fell into place.
Perfect. Now, you do provide a number of different services. Is there one in particular that you are known for that you really specialize in?
Uh, Obviously, by the name, it's social. We started off primarily as a social media firm, and over time, as more and more clients have requested different services from us and different things that they need help on, we've expanded into management, press release distribution, search engine optimization, graphic design, website development, you name it. We probably either do it in-house or have someone that'll do it for you these days. So
Right on. That's quite a bit. So I believe you're located in the Downtown Business Accelerator. Is that right?
we are.
Could you tell me why you chose that location and maybe what you like best about it?
Sure. When we were looking for office space, there was about 4 or 5 different places that I was looking. I knew I wanted to be somewhere downtown, close to the core of Windsor. It's a great culture down there, great people. It's kind of in its infancy right now. It's got a lot of potential. So when I first got into touch with the Accelerator, I really liked some of the people in there, the management, the business animator Arthur, and a few other people. I was really impressed. And in terms of price, they weren't necessarily the cheapest, they weren't necessarily the most expensive, but as a whole package, they really deliver in terms of mentorship, in terms of lead generation, in terms of office space, everything. It all comes together and gives you the complete package when you're trying to start a small business.
Awesome. And have you made some good partnerships with some of the other businesses that are in there?
I have, for sure. We've partnered with the Cottery Group, actually, inside the Accelerator to offer both of our services to people across Ontario. And we have a few other partners in North America and in Europe as well. But the Cottery Group and a few other individuals in the Accelerator, very, very helpful when it comes to partnerships. It's more of a cafeteria setting than a cubicle setting. So you can go up to anyone at any time and communicate with them or ask them something that's on your mind. So
Great.
it's a
Yeah,
really
that sounds like a great environment. Yeah, perfect. What is the biggest mistake people make with, let's say, their Facebook fan pages, and maybe what's one big tip for them?
The biggest mistake is to focus on likes.
Hmm.
Everyone's always looking on how they can get more and more likes. I want to get 500 likes here, 1,000 likes here. If I have X amount more likes on my page, more people know what I'm doing. Well, likes doesn't necessarily mean sales or new business. So we try to get people away from that thinking and get them into the metrics of, okay, what is my return on the money and the advertising that I'm doing on Facebook or the posts that I'm putting out? How are people actually engaging with that? What are they looking for? Um, what kind of my services should I be showing on Facebook versus the ones that I should reserve for Twitter or LinkedIn or in person or different types of meetings? So just getting away from that like mentality into actual tangible results. That's the biggest
Yeah,
issue.
I've been reading a little bit of that myself, and that's you get your especially all your friends like my page. You get blasted with these things all the time, but really, exactly, are your friends going to be the ones that buy your services? In some cases, maybe, but really, you want to focus on who's going to buy my product or service, right?
Exactly.
And you'd rather have 100 likes but make sales than 1,000 fans, but everybody's just there because they feel obligated or something, right? So
Right.
For sure. No, I think that's definitely a good point and probably is one of the biggest mistakes. Absolutely. So let's move on. What has been your biggest success to date, Chris?
My biggest success to date, I would say, uh, probably probably starting a my first business. I guess that was kind of my step into entrepreneurship. I'm now working on my fifth company, and
Wow.
Astral is my fourth company. My first one was actually a student painting business, and while I've had enough paint for one lifetime and will never touch it again, I did definitely learn a heck of a lot, and it definitely led to greater and bigger things from what I learned from that. So, not necessarily numbers wise, but in terms of experience, that was that was the coup de grace, taking the first step and really diving in head first.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So you said this is number four or five?
This is number four.
Number four. Okay, we're
Astral.
gonna get to five.
Get
so
five.
let's see here. So that's been your biggest success. So let's go. Well, let's go on the other side. Let's hear the other side now. What has been your biggest challenge over the years?
The biggest challenge, I'd say, probably because of my age. It puts a lot of people off. Some people are comfortable with it. Others, it's so out of the realm of what they're used to that it kind of freaks them out a little bit. So um, the biggest challenge I'd say is learning how to adapt to different people and how you need to be communicating differently with each person that you talk to. No one person's the same. And everyone kind of reads you and wants to interact with you differently. So how I would interact with you versus John down the street versus the CEO of XXX, it's a little different in each case, right? So using the youth portion kind of to my advantage, but at the same time being mindful that it it kind of throws people off sometimes. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably a problem for a lot of younger entrepreneurs to be taken seriously. And what do you really know, kid? Well, quite a bit,
exactly
maybe. Give me a chance, right? So for sure. Okay, well, you'll get older, and for sure, and so people are going to trust you more, right?
that's the thing. And time is on my side, right?
Yeah. So that's the good news as far as aging goes. What has worked best for you in attracting and booking some of maybe your larger clients?
My larger clients, I would say word of mouth. I know everyone says that, and you can't really measure it or anything like that, at least in terms of metrics, usually. But word of mouth, just getting out there to different networking events, connecting with people in other circles that you might not have normally connected with, right? So, for instance, we landed a client up in London about 2 or 3 months ago, a fairly large client. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're in healthcare. And normally you would think I'd find them by email or by LinkedIn, or I'd get a referral from someone else. But it actually ended up happening that I was at a networking event and I bumped into the right person who mentioned us down the line, and I got a phone call 3 months later. Hey, do you remember this? Sure, sure, sure. Yeah, I remember chatting with you for 5 minutes. Didn't really think it would turn into much. I was just networking like I normally do, and it ended up being a couple $1,000s a month client,
Wow,
which that's
that works for me.
it's not small, right? So word of mouth for sure. Online advertising helps, but word of mouth is still the ace in the hole when it comes to larger clients. I've found.
All right, well said. Let's see here. So, Facebook and Twitter are two of the most popular kind of social media platforms, and Pinterest is maybe the latest craze. Is there another big social media platform that's about to pop?
Um, About to pop, I wouldn't say necessarily pop, but there's two that I've been kind of keeping my eyes on the last month that have been popping up in the news a lot recently. One is called Feed, Pheed. It's pretty cool. It takes Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and kind of rolls them all into one. So um, right now, everyone's using four, five, six different networks. Everything's all over the place. Feed kind of pulls it all together. So it's an interesting concept. I'm going to watch it as it grows further.
Is that something like Hootsuite then?
A little bit, but this is an actual social network, not so much just management.
Ah, I see.
So it's a little bit different. We'll have to see how that progresses. A lot of people were excited about it, but web companies are a dime a dozen these days. So who
Right.
knows if it'll be around in 6 months? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
The second
Okay.
one's called Vine. It's basically a video version of Instagrams. It's an interesting concept. People were starting to play with it. Twitter put it out about 2 weeks ago. So we'll have to see how that goes. I've played around with it. It's pretty cool. It lets you stitch together a couple of videos over 6 seconds and then send it to your friends. So we'll see if people pick it up or not, or if it's around in 6 months. Who
I think
knows?
I've heard of that one, but I just haven't checked it out. But I'll have to check it out and look into that. Chris, I know you said you were working on another kind of business. Maybe you could tell us just a little bit about that.
Sure. I can't give you all the details, but I'll give you a quick little 30-second rundown.
That works.
About 3 or 4 months ago, I partnered up with my co-founder on this new company. His name is James Henderson. He is the owner of Rouselwood Business Solutions. He's kind of the coding genius of Windsor, if you will. I've never seen anyone like this guy when it comes to code. So I partnered with him a few months ago, and we decided to start this new company called Leaf. And Leaf, in a nutshell, is Amazon meets Twitter with some personalization thrown on top. So rather than you browsing through thousands of different products trying to find something that you've been looking for online, you go to eBay, you go to Amazon, you go to Google, you're all over the place. We pull it all together and recommend stuff to you and help you find that stuff more efficiently. And then you can share it with your friends. So it's a little bit different take on online shopping. That's what's in the tubes. We'll have something coming out in the news about the third week of March. So keep your eyes peeled for more
Oh,
information.
that's not too far away.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for Leaf, you said?
Leaf.
And
Yeah,
does it
like
already have, is it leaf.com or what do you have?
right now, our website's in development, but it will be shopwithleaf.com, and over the next few months, it'll migrate over to leaf.com. But right now, shopwithleaf.com.
Okay, very good. And so we're just going to ask you one more question here, Chris, and
Sure.
that's kind of aside from all the business when you're not tweeting and coding and helping businesses become social media stars. What do you do in your other free time there, Chris?
In my free time, this is going to sound crazy, but I actually mentor other entrepreneurs. My free time, I enjoy that better than playing soccer or watching TV. I mean, I found it sort of difficult when I was first getting started with my businesses, and I was lucky enough to get a lot of good support. So now these days, I try to lend that support to the next generation, the students on campus at the university in St. Clair and around Windsor. I try to make myself as accessible as possible and give them some advice to help them move forward.
Wow, that's amazing. Perfect. So how does somebody get a hold of you if they're a young person and they want to get some help?
Sure. The easiest way is probably by email. My email is chris@astralsocial.com, or they can give me a call. My personal cell number is 519-965-3826. I don't answer that all too often, so if you can't get a hold of me on my cell, by all means call our office and I'll get back to you. That number is 519-997-2367.
All right, perfect. So, Chris, that's our time for today. I want to thank my guest, Chris Anderson, for being a guest on Talk to Derek, the show that
Thank you.
builds trust with video, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks.